Hey guys, welcome back. We are here once again.
We're back.
We are indeed. And we're going to field some questions from our Twitters. You guys have been hitting us up. He's going to pull a couple from his. I'm going to pull a couple from mine. And I'll just read them all off right here. We have a question for the both of us. Hi, HD and Payne. I got a quick question for you. Does Zerg need a new Tier 3 unit that can attack air and ground?
Wow. That's interesting. Well, in Brood War, we never had a Tier 3 air unit that could attack air and ground.
I think he just said a Tier 3 unit, period, that can attack air and ground.
Yeah, well, I'm saying...
So I guess it could be air or ground.
You mean an air unit that can attack air or ground?
No. He's saying...
Oh, just a Tier 3 unit.
Just a Tier 3 unit that can attack air and ground. So it can hit air and ground, I guess.
I don't necessarily...
I think it would be really good.
Well, it would be really good, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think that's really what Zerg is lacking in the late game.
Well, we have to wait and see what they give to Terran and Protoss. And then if Zerg needs something like that, then yeah. But right now in the current game, we don't need that yet. I think it would be cool, though. Yeah,
I think it would be awesome, and it's not necessary right now. Maybe in the future they'll add something like that, but I think what he's referring to is the fact that, a lot of people think that Zerg late game is weak right now. Zerg late game was dominating for a little bit when people were going Infestor, Broodlord, Ultralisk style, and then now we see Terrans mixing in Ghosts. So they're going Ghost with Mech and Marine support, and they're able to overcome the Zerg in the late game. So I think it's just a matter of time before Zerg adapt and change things up a little bit and, start using stuff like Niduses. And you see Destiny, he uses Infestor drops, where he burrows Infestors and he'll drop tons of infested Terrans on top of a command center, kill the Orbital, kill a bunch of the SCVs. And just like unique creative stuff like that Zerg can use in the late game. So I think it's just a matter of people figuring things out, not adding like a really powerful
Well, on top of that, Zerg isn't all about having a really powerful late game unit. Zerg is about having lots of units.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're weaker than their Terran and Protoss counterparts, but the idea is you're able to outswarm them, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I would welcome the idea. I think it would be cool, but I think a lot of players would say that ruins the game or that dilutes the game to some extent. I think it would be cool if they implemented some kind of a Terran late game unit that's really good in general. I think that you guys already have the Thor, though, so that kind of qualifies. Maybe I'm just going off on the wrong thread here. Do you have any more questions from Twitter, man?
Yeah,
I noticed you over there, like, reading the page. Pull up some awesome questions.
I got a couple more.
Let me pull up my Twitter.
What do you think about Idra's consistent Mutaling Baneling against Terran? I think Idra has a very good Mutaling Baneling. He's really good at it. He's been doing it for such a long time. He never really adopted that 2-base super quick infestor style that we see a lot of players using.
Yeah.
And it works for Idra. It works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I use the Mutal Baneling style
I've
against Terran.
seen you. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't use the Infestor style against Terran, and that's because I'm also somewhat old school as well.
Yeah.
And that was the predominant build in
It
Season
still
1.
works. It's still really, really, really good.
However, I think it's really smart when you start to infuse both ideas
together.
Switch it up.
Switch it up.
So if you've got Muta Baneling and you can give away about 100 gas and make an Infestor, then you've got an Infestor or two in your army and you can fungal the Marines to prevent them from running behind the tanks.
I'm even saying switch it up in a series. Like game 1, Mutaling Baneling. Game 2, like Massling, heavy upgrades, Infestor style.
Yeah.
I think that is really good. But Idra, tried and true. Every game we'll see him. And that's a good question, by the way. And that was from M Gravy Train. Thanks. That's actually a good question. And I think for Idra, it really works. He's super active with his Mutalisks. He's really good at harassing. He's really good at finding windows of opportunity to do damage. And he picks off reinforcements. He picks off tanks. He picks off SCVs everywhere.
Yeah.
He picks you apart. And he's really good at it. A lot of players, you see people struggle with the mass Mutalisk style. It's so fragile. You have to be really careful. If you lose your mutas, I mean, if you're going to go muta style, it's all about muta retention. You have to keep your mutas alive throughout the game.
I couldn't agree more with you there, and I think that's the big reason why I kind of blew it at MLG. I just flew packs of Mutalisks over Marines when they didn't need to.
Yeah, they're expensive, man.
They really are. They're 100 minerals, 100 gas. They're basically equivalent in cost, almost as much as a siege tank.
Pretty close.
So when you think about it, each one you lose, it's a big investment. So you have to be careful because they're so fragile. But they give you that map control, and they're very important in Zerg versus Terran.
From CBS 89 at Pain User and HD Starcraft.
Love you guys.
Storm drops and Archon drops are very underused, as is Protoss Harass in general. What do you guys think about this? And I totally agree. And I actually linked a video on my Twitter a ways back of this guy who made a video doing sentry drops with Protoss. It was unreal. He has a Warp Prism. He loads up like 3 sentries, sometimes 4 sentries with full energy, sends them in, drops them in the back of the mineral line, and then uses the hatchery or the command center or the nexus as part of the wall, puts force fields, attaches the force fields blocks between the mineral line and the command center, prevents all of the drones from escaping, literally just walls off both sides of the hatchery.
And what's the purpose?
And then
he's just stopping mining?
He's stopping mining, and he's killing drones the entire time. He has
with
4
the
sentries. Yes. And he displays this in his video. I'll relink it on my Twitter, actually, after this broadcast. I'll relink that video on my Twitter. But it basically shows how you can use sentries to get, in some cases, he gets 15 to 20 drone and SCV kills because you can't run them. You can click on minerals at another base, you can try and move them all out, but they physically can't leave, and you can't bring your forces in to kill the sentries.
I wonder if you try to mineral walk the drones out, if there is an opening.
If there's an opening, they'll go.
So the Protoss has to be
He completely
perfect.
walls it. Yeah.
He has to wall it perfectly with his
But
sentries.
he shows it's easy. He shows, like, it's two force fields on either side, and then 2 force fields on the back of the mineral line, and that's a full wall between the hatchery and the sides. And then they just drop the 4 in the center, kill all your drones, pack up, leave.
I'm not looking forward to when a Protoss does that to me.
Yeah,
if they do it perfectly,
really good, and it's so underused. Like nobody uses it.
Typically, that would force the Zerg to go into. Well, they would have to build crawlers in the back of their mineral line.
Something.
Or go to Mutas.
Yeah, or Mutas. But I mean, as is, it's a really, really good strategy, and he has a ton of games. So, to answer your question, which I really didn't do.
What was your question? What was the question?
He was asking about storm drops and Archon drops, and whether they're over or underused. And
Storm and Archon drops?
Yeah, I don't think Archon drops are intelligent at all. They're way too expensive.
Yeah, Storm drops are used.
Yeah, Storm drops are used sometimes, but not as much as we saw in Brood War.
That's true. I think the reason for that is because it's so much cheaper just to warp in Zealots in the mineral line.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good point. All right, let's jump into Game 2 here, and we'll get things going.
Yeah, and Game 2, guys, is going to be a game with one of our teammates here. We're going to save the really highly anticipated games for the last. Best for last. I hesitate to say best. I don't want to say my teammate's bad. It's Suppy, man. It's Conan.
Yeah, Suppy's awesome.
He's Superior Wolf on Team Liquid. He's a great guy, an extremely good Zerg. He went pretty far at MLG as well.
He did indeed.
And I think he's considered on our team to be one of the better players, one of the best players, in fact.
Yeah, he's a really good Zerg player. He has phenomenal mechanics. He's young. He has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
he's smart.
Really young, man.
Yeah, he's really young. Smart.
I was like, yo, dude, what's up? What's going on? And he was like, hey, what's going on? And I thought he was like our age, like 24 or something. He's like, no, I'm not 21 yet.
Yeah. No, he's like 18, right?
Like, well, we can't go drinking together
yet,
yet, man.
Nope. And he's going to be playing against Trump here, a longtime streamer, and, you know, kind of has died off as of late, but he was one of the premier streamers. I mean, he was the Destiny before Destiny, if you will. The guy that just streamed all the time, that had a huge following. He did his free lessons and commentary on his stream, so it's good to see Trump back in the mix, and, you know, hopefully we have a pretty good game here on our hands. It's going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns, Terran versus Zerg. Suppy going to be spawning in the bottom left-hand corner as our red Zerg, and over in the top right-hand corner, we're going to have his opponent, Trump.
Yeah, you mentioned a really good point there, the fact that Trump used to stream all the time. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember back in the days it was Grey Torp.
He would stream from time to time.
Oh, well, I'm not thinking of the right person.
He wasn't like one of the
I'm not thinking of the right person. Somebody else that starts with the G. We'll have to get back to you guys on that. I'll keep thinking of it. And
Goat Rope streams.
Goat Rope! There we go.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he streams a lot of like
he used to stream
Brood War and like special events and stuff like that.
Well, there you go. So Trump, Goat Rope, a couple other guys that really come to mind back when I think this was all during the beta, when StarCraft 2 was still in the beta phase, the baby phase, so to say.
Oh, put that depot up!
Oh, he lets the drone inside. Now he's gonna lock it in though.
Yeah, but the
that's
drone's not what you want.
The drone's gonna get a full scout off.
Yeah, now he knows about the gas timing. It's just you do not want to ever let any kind of scouting unit get into your base, and the reason behind putting that second supply depot down so early is to prevent them from seeing the gas. It's all about preventing them from seeing the gas. Then they're forced to prepare for several different avenues.
You're right.
Yeah, and you want to keep them in the dark on that. But
if you think about it now, that second supply depot going down so early is now a hindrance because it would have been better to wait to throw it up at the correct time instead.
Yeah, I agree. And he's going to go ahead and steal that gas,
just to keep
limiting Trump's tech options. He's not going to be able to go quick Banshee with Cloak here.
Yeah.
He's essentially, forcing the quick command center, which is almost 100% going to come anyway.
And on top of that, it also keeps a drone alive for as long as possible. And why lose a drone when you can keep it alive for a very small investment? He's gonna almost lets the extractor go up. That was really close. So he's gonna prolong the time of that extractor. Now, if Suppy is really, really good here, he can cancel the extractor about halfway through when the Terran doesn't expect it, run the drone around and try to get a scout on the factory, but that's really hard to do.
Yeah, and wow, interesting. Trump hasn't built a single add-on yet on any of his buildings, and that might hinder him here. He doesn't have that reactor, he doesn't have a tech lab, and oh my god, Suppy made 2 spawning pools.
No, he's making us
here we are,
so bad.
talking him up, talking Suppy up, and then he goes and makes 2 spawning pools. I don't know what he's thinking there, but HD just giving him a little bit of LOL action.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Suppy gonna go ahead and drop 2 spawning pools. Maybe he's gonna get double metabolic boost. I don't know.
Metabolic boost and adrenal glands at the same time.
We do have a Roach Warren now for Suppy though, but he's gonna have to pull his drones out of here because he has no units out on the field, not a single one.
That's because he invested 200 minerals in a spawning pool.
Yeah, but oh my god, he forgot to spread his drones. 5 drones will go down immediately, and he's going to start kiting these Zerglings. And oh my god, Suppy is in a terrible situation. He could lose this game right off the bat. Yep. Another drone goes down. I hope this queen doesn't go down. And there we go. We finally have a Roach out on the field. Oh my god.
I know.
This early game is stressing me out. Suppy has lost a lot.
Blood pressure rising a little bit there.
He's down on supply. He's going to be down on harvesters. What's the harvester count right now?
We're at 18 under 24, so Trump is at a massive lead right now. And if we pull up that workers kill tab, literally every single one of those 5 drones that went down right there was from that Hellion Hadouken blast right there.
Yep, absolutely. He took all those out when they were lined up perfect right there. And now we have add-ons for Trump. He has a reactor on the racks, and he has a tech lab on the factory. What is he gonna do with that Blue Flame and Bio? So I guess the single tank is just to be safe against roaches. He's gonna get that. He saw the roaches come out, so he's gonna grab the tank, but he's not gonna get siege right away. He's gonna wait until Blue Flame finishes. Hopefully, okay. He's gonna swap that factory over. So Trump going with pure mech here. He's not even gonna get a tech lab on that Rex. No stim, no nothing.
Yeah, I actually kind of like the all-mech build. It's kind of hard for Zerg to deal with because they've got to change their whole composition up rather than going for that Baneling-heavy style. Yeah. You know what I was thinking right here? What would be really creative is if Trump just moved out right now with the tank, revealed it to an Overlord, and then fell back, and then ran out with a bunch of Hellions, and that would make Suppy think, oh, he's building a tank, and he's not going Blue Flame Hellions, because he does have that really, really early tank out.
Yeah, he does have that
theoretical
super early tank. It also keeps them 100% safe to any kind of a roach break. And when you are going with mech like that, you have to have at least 1 tank because Hellions are terrible against roaches, and unupgraded Marines really aren't going to do the job either. So he needs that just to be safe. And now we're going to see him get in here with all these Blue Flame Hellions. Blue Flame is not quite done yet. Running into the roaches there, getting a little sloppy.
Did he cancel Blue Flame?
But he's going to get into the main now, and oh my god, oh my god, Suppy running directly into the Hellions. Gonna lose all of his drones, and oh man, we're gonna have to sit down with Suppy and have a little talk about what to do with your drones when there's Hellions about. And oh my god, that
honestly,
is so many drones lost.
Sometimes the best reaction to Hellions is to hit stop. or do nothing. But literally trying to run them away is what the Terran wants you to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially when you line them all up like that.
Well, the drones naturally line up.
Yes.
More energon.
Have any HD and I have been on a Beast Wars binge. For those of you that watched Beast Wars as kids, man, I know we watched that show.
I know, I watched it all the time.
And
man.
Megatron is absolutely hilarious.
The best actor, bar none. His voice acting is amazing.
There energon here? Yes. All right, enough of that. So we're gonna have some more Blue Flame Hellions going in here for a second run at the natural, and if they get back into the main, Suppy is really gonna be hurting here.
No! What is this?
God, he had a block there. He's scouting. He's trying to find out where the roaches are.
And more drones are gonna go down. 35 drones have gone down right now. Pain User. Make it 40! It's gonna be, no, just 39. It was about to be 40. If we pull up that workers tab right now, it is 23 to 35. If you guys look at the bottom right hand corner of your screen, you can look at Pain User's jaw wide open right now. He's staring in amazement.
This is brutal. This is so brutal. Let's go back to Trump's base and see what he's up to. He has a couple tanks now. He's adding another command center. He's also getting +1 vehicles. Thor is on the way. And oh man,
look at the supply differential. 54 under 91.
It looks like Trump made a critical error. He completely forgot about siege. He does not have siege mode. He's not going to be able to launch a timing push. He totally forgot about siege.
Well, when you think about it, he doesn't need to launch a timing push.
That's kind of true.
He's so far ahead right now.
And he doesn't even really necessarily need siege. He's adding Thors now. And he's going to try and get back into the main. But beautiful block by Suppy right there. Great micro. Going to prevent those Hellions from getting in. And that was a close one. The Hellions are going to try and find their way back in. They're working left. They're working right.
They're trying to juke and jive right now. Trying to break some roach ankles. And they're going to get in.
Fly like a butterfly and
sting
torch like a Hellion or something like that.
Yes.
That should be a new saying. And one Hellion will make it into the main, but it'll get dealt with by that Queen.
No, it may actually get in and get some more drones.
Oh my god.
What a nice little hiding spot right here, but it doesn't end up killing any drones. But what damage has been inflicted by Trump on Suppy? Look at that. The Zerg is down by half the supply of Trump right now, 61 under 107.
You know, Conan is one of those players, though, that's very perseverant. He can claw his way back from situations where you think he's down and out, but oh my god, this timing push here from Trump is just going to be so nasty.
Well, he still doesn't have siege mode, so I hesitate to call it a timing push.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he's missing one of the key upgrades that make that timing push so successful.
I think, god.
Yeah, well,
oh no.
These roaches are going out on a little exploration mission. They're going to run into...
later, Marine.
Yeah. Well,
Drive-by acid spitting. That's like we're in the hood now, man.
We in the hood, bro.
The roaches don't want that Marine on their block. The Zelnagas are like block corners in the hood, you know.
Oh,
they're fine. It's like gang turf.
This is Murder Dubs, East 14th.
But seriously, this mech push from Trump is going to be a lot to handle.
What is Suppy going to do about it, man?
I don't know.
He's going to have to recruit, like, more unit.
Ooh, he is getting burrow and tunnel and claws, though.
I like that.
Yeah.
That actually could be the single upgrade that makes a difference. Because if he's going to be able to unburrow or burrow underneath the tanks and the Hellions and the Thors, he can do some serious damage. But
I mean, we see Trump.
A tall order.
Yeah, we see Trump taking his gold and his fourth at the same time. I mean,
wow, he delayed the command center.
Yeah, but, you know, it doesn't really matter. Trump sending all of his army to the left-hand side here, though. I don't really know why. He's leaving his gold sort of exposed and gonna pick off a free Thor right there. Suppy gonna head into the natural here, and he might get potentially a few more kills. There's some rogue tanks there. Still no siege. Those tanks are gonna go down as well, so Suppy gonna get some much-needed kills here to try and catch back up. And is he going to be able to get into the main?
Well, the thing is, it might be much needed kills, but it's not worth losing all these roaches for.
It is. He got a Thor, 2 tanks, a couple SCVs, a couple Hellions, and now he's bringing in some more roaches from behind, but he's going to get that tank in the back.
No. Yeah,
oh, man.
I think Trump, he did lose some crucial units there, but Suppy, you know, he didn't have to run up the ramp and run into a dead end. I understand this is the hood, but you don't gotta run into a dead end, man. You can try to get out and find your way around. And he could have saved a lot more of his roaches. He's still being aggressive, though. He's still trying to find angles and angles to find a place to exploit Trump and his weaknesses. But it's so much to do. Look, he's down by 30 drones. He's down by 30 supply.
Yeah.
He's down by a base.
Yeah. Man, he's going to try and go in and deny the fourth here, and I really like that move. But we have that planetary fortress already up and running, and as you like to say, blasting away with those
The beaks.
cannons. And Suppy launching a counterattack through the right-hand side here. Going to get back into the natural with some burrowed roaches, and I really like that maneuver by him. He's also going to... Oh, God, these Hellions are in the sweet spot. Going to kill a bunch more. Actually... Good job dealing with that. Suppy gonna try and just sneak all the way into the main here.
This is tricky.
Not even going for those tanks. I don't know why. I think that actually would have been a really good idea. But
well, he wants the SCVs, I guess, in the mineral line.
Yeah. He's really gonna disrupt things here. And he's also gonna hit the gold at the same time, it looks like.
This is smart because he's gonna force all these units to unsiege. But he revealed his roaches. I really think it would have been smart to wait for the unsiege.
Oh, he's gonna get on top of the tanks here,
he's gonna get underneath. Yeah, he's gonna get underneath the tanks, and he's gonna
move.
He's gonna kill all these tanks off.
That turret's gonna go up, though.
And here we go. Life is rough in the hood.
Very well. Very well done by Suppy right there, killing all the tanks. And back in the main, he is just disrupting things tremendously, and that's got to be frustrating for Trump because he's just getting picked apart here, and you know, this is really Trump's fault. He's not controlling the map. He's not spreading his tanks out. He had all of his tanks just clumped up in one spot here at the gold. You know, he's just not playing the mech style very well. He should have been pushing this entire time. He's really not trying to make any offensive moves. He's just trying to sit back and continue to build up on that mech army, and wow, that Thor is stuck in the mineral line there in the main, just going nuts. Doing the Thor dance.
The Thor dance. He's trying to find his way out right now. Yeah, he's gonna get out of there. I like how Suppy left a single roach there. That's gonna be pretty annoying for Trump later on when that roach decides to unburrow and harass the mineral line. But you know what's interesting? I was gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. Suppy has equalized the supply with his burrowed roaches. He's gotten back into this game unbelievably. He's still down a hatchery, but he's not completely out as he was before. I can't believe it. He's back in, and he has a glimmer of hope to win this game.
Yeah, he does have a glimmer of hope. He continues to pick off tanks left and right. He's doing such a good job of really controlling Trump's tank count. He's picked off so many tanks this game, and you know, that's really what's important when you're going up against mech. You have to be able to whittle down the tank numbers and not allow them to get that, you know, ridiculous kill-all death push with their mech. But Suppy's gonna have to get to Hive Tech here. He needs to get to Broodlords. He needs to get to something other than Roaches. Roaches only cut it for so long against mech until a player starts to figure things out. I don't know why Trump doesn't have a Raven yet. He needs to get a Raven. He needs to push with missile turrets, and he needs to scan. He's not using anything to detect, and that's his biggest downfall in this game. He keeps getting surprised by these burrowed roaches time and time again. And there, once again, Suppy working his way into the natural, but this time, Trump was ready for him.
Yeah, man. I feel like if the Terran player could get some detection out right now, that would be a huge, huge bonus to deal with these burrowed roaches. Suppy is playing a very uncharacteristic style of ZVT, man. I remember when burrowed roaches were really, really good against Terran. They were used pretty popularly in the beta. But Suppy, using this strategy because he was so far behind earlier on, is making it work really well. And this is really the proper response to dealing with mass mech when the opponent has Hellions, tanks, and Thors. The single unit that comes to mind that can deal with all that, besides the Mutalisk, of course, is mass roaches.
Yeah.
If you can surround all those units, pop up underneath, you can do a lot of damage. And look, he's going to kill so many SCVs inside this mineral line. He's going to get them all, and Trump isn't pulling them away.
Trump is falling apart here.
He's going to come ahead, man.
Yeah, Suppy doing a great job clawing his way back into this game. 57 workers killed now for Suppy. He is totally caught up, and you know, Trump still with no detection. He's really got to get on top of this. And wow, that's a lot of roaches dying, but not a big deal. He can reinforce that. He can replenish those roach numbers. Trump cannot afford to replenish all those SCVs and all those tanks.
And I just want to call attention to you guys once again. Suppy has 2 spawning pools.
Yeah, he made 2 spawning pools. He got worked over in the beginning.
Yeah.
Picks off another
Hold that thought. Suppy comes
tanks.
in here. He's gonna get another Thor, another tank. He could actually kill off some more Hellions as well, but he's being a little more safer with his units. And look at the army now, Pain User. He's ahead by 20. He's got the larger army. He's got the stronger economy. He's right back in this game, if not ahead. And, oh, excuse me, guys. I sped up that replay for just a little bit right there.
It's okay.
That was like speed roaches.
He has a ton of tanks in the mineral line right there, so that base is pretty well defended. He's got that planetary and a bunch of tanks, so nothing gonna happen there. And I'm surprised Suppy actually hasn't teched up to Hive
There's
yet.
the
There we go.
Tech.
Hive Tech and
he's making
the
Spire. So he's
so
going to go for Broodlords. He's going to make the Greater Spire and go for Broodlords.
And he's gonna push in here, and the tanks are all unsieged once again. Gonna pick off another Thor and an additional 4 tanks. Just continually whittling Trump down. And I don't know why Trump is trying to push with maybe a third of his mech army. He has all those tanks over at his 4th right now that he's not using. With mech, you cannot separate your mech ball into different groups like that. It's the strength of mech is in a cohesive unit when you have all your tanks together and you do a very well thought out. Yes, together as one, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that right now. He's kind of playing it like, you know, maybe he's just not that experienced with playing mech, because he's really just getting picked apart by pure roaches here. And I really don't think that you should lose to pure roaches with mech. I think actually it's harder for the Zerg to win with pure roaches. Zerg has to use the roaches just to stay alive. But the Broodlords are what ultimately cleans up mech. And unsieged with all of his tanks there at the natural.
Oh no.
Trump gonna lose those additionally. And
I think he just lost about 6 or 7 tanks, make that 8 or 9.
Yeah, Trump's just falling apart here.
Trump is falling apart by the bolts that hold together this weary mechanical machine. Suppy is going to get right into the main. I said
I love your analogies, man. Your metaphors and your analogies are like the best. I don't know where you come up with that stuff, but it is golden.
It comes off the top of my head,
just flows like water.
Yeah. Well, Suppy here is actually in a weird position. Why isn't Trump sieging up?
I don't know.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
He needs to siege up. He could have blasted those roaches to high heaven, but he's it's actually allowing a lot of his tanks at the front to go down. There we go. Finally siege up to the last of his units, but what a disastrous trade for Trump.
Yeah, disastrous trade for Trump indeed. He's also losing a lot of his production facilities in the main. He's losing supply depots.
Oh no.
And he's losing tanks. And Suppy totally running away with this game. What an impressive comeback. And now he's got that Greater Spire on the way, so we are going to see Broodlords here in the near future. And that's just going to be the nail in the coffin. And Trump is just getting played like a fiddle right now, man.
Played like the piano, like the musical instrument. Suppy is doing a really good job right now.
Yep.
I don't want to take anything away from Suppy, because he's been playing. He clawed himself back in. He didn't give up, and he used burrowed roaches so well, man. Look at that! He just killed off every single last defending unit at the gold. He's making these roaches so cost effective.
You know what's crazy though is, to Trump's credit, he's still alive, man.
That's kind of true,
he's
too.
He's still in this game. He's still on 4 base right now.
That's true, yeah.
He's still producing a lot of units, and he still has a pretty sizable amount of tanks, but 7 Corruptors on the way right now for Suppy. You know, Trump needed to push down this right-hand side towards the gold, and he's not going to siege his tanks again.
No.
I don't know what he's thinking, but oh my god, those tanks are just...
Even unsieged, they have
they're doing
+3 weapons. They do 34 damage per shot.
Oh my god.
Trump is blasting those roaches away, but he lost a lot of his tanks too, because he wasn't sieged.
Yeah, he did lose quite a few.
And I think what Suppy's doing here is he's just buying time for the Broodlords to hatch, and we can hear them coming in the background.
Trump has essentially given up on his main. He allowed these 4 roaches to kill all the factories. They're going to kill a bunch of these depots. They're going to deny the reactor here, which is so important. He needs these reactors up and running to get the Vikings out, and it seems that Trump is anticipating this this tech switch here, but he might lose those. Very good harass by Trump.
Yeah, we haven't seen enough of this after the early game. He kind of stopped.
He just gave up on it, absolutely.
But he needs to continue doing that, because it's going to keep the Zerg on his back. Yeah, he's going to get a couple more lings here. Possibly going to get some drones at the lower expansion here. No, just a couple. But notice what Suppy does when he sees those harassing units. He sends a small pack of his roaches to defend with that. Not completely ignoring it, and not sending his entire army. And now we have the final evolution of the Zerg. The mighty Broodlord is out. And what does Trump have? He just lost all of his starports. No, he actually has 2 left in the background.
Yeah, he lost the reactor.
He lost the reactor. So I see what Suppy was doing. He's trying to kill off the starports, kill off the reactors, because he knew that was the only chance Trump had to stay in this game, because Broodlords are coming out.
Yeah, and, you know, Trump needs to start producing Vikings, man. He hasn't sent those Vikings to the front yet, and he's not producing out of all of his starports. And he needs those Vikings at the front right now, because Suppy has no air-to-air. He has no Corruptors out, and those Vikings could pick off all the Broodlords right now if he had them out there, but they're not. And he's going to lose all of his tanks here, because he's not unsieging them, and these Broodlords are just going to town right now. And wow. That is a lot of broodlings.
And what are these Vikings
They're not
doing?
rallied.
They're still
Yeah,
lazy
they're not
here
rallied.
at the base. I think they may be scared. They don't want to fight.
There we go. Now they're working their way in. But he needs to unsiege those tanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
The thing about broodlings is if you don't have your tanks unsieged, if you have them sieged up, they'll kill
there
themselves.
There we go. Now Trump's got the right idea.
Yeah.
Finally bringing the Vikings in. Now he needs to siege those tanks. Start working down those roaches. There we go. Very well done. Possibly drop a scan here. He has no detection. And those roaches are working their way in towards the planetary. But all these broodlords are going to go down. And this is absolutely huge for Trump. If he can hold on to this planetary at the gold.
No, he cannot do it. And he loses the gold. But it's not that big of a loss.
Cost?
Well, the thing is, he didn't lose
I
any
agree.
gold. He doesn't have any minerals to mine there. So it's not that bad. And Suppy is the one who lost a major portion of his army. However,
those
the corruptors are here.
Yeah.
They'll be able to kill off the rest of these Vikings. And I would imagine that Suppy is reproducing mass roaches right now. Yeah, he is.
These corruptors doing a great job at just dealing with the Vikings right now. And if he can get all these Vikings down, you know, it's going to be so hard for Trump to rebuild that air force.
But the repair force underneath keeps the Vikings alive.
And he has some more reinforcement Vikings from behind, actually, joining into the fight. And reinforcements coming from the starport, but more corruptors coming in. And we just have an all-out
dogfight,
dogfight here. Chuck Yeager's air combat in full effect over the natural right now.
You know what? I have to say once again, Trump, kudos to you for staying in this game. I thought you were down and out at the mid-game. I thought you were done once you started losing all those tanks, but you're still in it. You still have a healthy tank count. You have Vikings. You survived that last attack. And I still think there's a game to be made out of this, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe it.
Well,
I really can't believe it.
Here's the thing, though. Suppy is up 166 to 117 on supply, and Suppy's also taken air dominance. He's taken air superiority, which is so important at this later stage of the game when you're going broodlords like that.
Has he, though? Because there are a lot of Vikings on the map.
Yeah, but the problem is that there's no support on the ground for the Vikings. If there were a Thor or two, or perhaps some Marines on the ground that could assist in killing these corruptors, but as is, Suppy can just produce a wave of corruptors, 10 to 15, and just move them on those Vikings.
And just as you're speaking about that, a Thor is on the way. So the Thor is on the way, just as you said that. I think, Trump, he has the idea. He has the right idea, and he's making the correct units. Actually forces a cancel on the hatchery over here. And
he needs to go take that base.
He needs to take that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
He needs to go get some expansions going down. He needs to get rid of the creep that's going on over here.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what he's waiting on that base for so long for.
You know what I'd like to see Suppy go with?
Suppy now bringing queens for the transfuse.
Well, that's kind of smart.
Yeah.
Because queens are really good for healing the big air units.
I agree.
And he is going to go for a possible attack on the side here, or possibly just to protect the hatchery that is going up. Every player now realizing this is the hatchery or command center to go for. This is the last mining expansion that's available to both players.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's going to be the focal point for the rest of the game. It's the crux. And, Trump really not doing anything about it. He's just kind of sitting back, hanging out, and I'll tell you what, that's not going to win him the game.
He's got a lot of SCVs here, too.
He certainly does have a lot of SCVs ready to repair these Vikings, but he just doesn't have enough of an army. He's only at 126 supply. I could understand him maybe trying to go for a starve-out situation if he was at 200 supply, but he's not there, and this tactic certainly isn't going to win him the game. He's going to have to siege up here. His tanks are unsieged. Oh, God.
No. There's the Thor coming in along with the Vikings to deal with the anti-air, and it's all going to come down to the air here in terms of this battle, but the transfuse going down, keeping the corruptors alive. SCV's also repairing the Thor, but the Thor goes down as well. No planetary at this command center, and I think Suppy will be able to take this battle.
Yep.
Brilliant play.
And with that, the game. You earned that one, GG. He did indeed. Huge deficit. 39 drones going down, and Suppy clawing his way back to take a game off Trump. And everybody in chat that was saying, Bronze League, Silver League. No, these guys are both good Masters players.
Oh, man.
And we've got some great games in store for you guys coming up, so don't worry about a thing. We got Destiny coming up. We've got Idra coming up. So just, don't go anywhere. Stay glued to your seats, and we got a quick commercial break coming up, and then we're going to have a few announcements when we come back, and then we'll go ahead and jump on into the next game.
All right, guys, make sure to post any questions on Twitter. If you guys want us to answer them when we come back, twitter.com/HDStarcraft, twitter.com/FaneUser. And we have a couple of really awesome games. Idra and Nesty are coming up next, so don't go anywhere.